Guys, welcome back. It's me, Christian. Now, today I'm going to cover a few differences between narcissism and emotional immaturity. Now, this is extremely important to understand, especially when you are involved in a relationship or if you plan in the future to be in a relationship, because there is a very fine line between dating a partner who is just emotionally immature, which means that they can still grow and learn and improve, versus being involved with a narcissist whom will never, ever change. So I'm going to cover a few signs of emotional immaturity that we mistake for narcissism. Okay? Because there are, hundreds and thousands of articles and videos discussing and covering the topic of narcissism. How to spot one, how to break away from one, subtle signs that you were the narcissist, overt narcissist, covert narcissist, male narcissist, female narcissist, blah, 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 all of this narcissism. Now, I'm not denying that's not true, but what I am saying is oftentimes you are involved with someone who is just emotionally immature. And there's a difference there. And that's very important to understand. So without further ado, I'm going to start off with, a little definition of narcissism, just so we have it clear from the get-go for anybody who's just never heard of it. So narcissism is classified as a personality disorder, right? NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. Now, the traits of NPD are the following: having an exaggerated sense of self-importance, having a sense of entitlement, which is synonymous with requiring constant excessive admiration, expecting instant demands, compliance, never taking no for an answer, exaggerating one's achievements and talents, being preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty, idealizing oneself, feeling superior to others. Narcissists have an inability and unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings of other people because they lack empathy, sympathy, and care for others. Narcissists are either envious of others or believe others are envious of them. It's always you versus them. Narcissists behave in an arrogant or haughty manner, coming across as conceited, boastful, and pretentious. Narcissists use others for personal gain. Now, these are just a few traits that I've mentioned off the top. Of course, there's thousands of articles and videos out there. You can do your own research, of course. Now, that's just a little basic introduction to what narcissism is. And many people confuse that and the way a narcissist behaves with just somebody who's emotionally immature. And there's a complete difference, which we're going to get into now. So it's all well and good to notice these characteristics, these traits. Now, what is key here is that everybody you meet in the world is different. If we're being really honest, for somebody to be really classified as a narcissist, they would have to fit with pretty much every single one of those traits and characteristics. There are some psychologists that theorize that narcissists are missing part of their gray matter in their brain, in the region where you develop emotions and feelings, which is why they lack empathy. In terms of the Bible and Christianity, you hear stories of the Jezebel spirit. Some people say that this is a spiritual thing. Like, these people are almost demon possessed. They're not really people. They're evil. Something is seriously wrong with them. That makes a narcissist completely different than an emotionally immature adult, right? Because somebody who's narcissistic, they have a disorder. Somebody who's emotionally immature is simply immature. They still have a chance to grow and blossom into somebody who is mature. That is very, very key. So now I'm going to go through a few ways to actually differentiate between an emotionally immature adult and a narcissist. So number one, emotionally immature adults will resort to name-calling or blaming. No different than small children. They will resort to shifting blame, name-calling whenever a situation is above their ability to understand, empathize, or is outside of their interests. So remember, if anybody who's immature is going to throw out a name when they're upset, when they're angry. Narcissists are also going to display this trait when they are faced with any negative repercussions for their actions as well. And that's where the confusion comes in. But perhaps look at yourself in the mirror. It's happened to everybody, including me in the past, many times. Have you never been angry at somebody you're close to, a family member, a friend, perhaps somebody you were involved with romantically? You had an argument, you said something you didn't mean, you reacted in a very emotional, childish way, which later you regretted. Did that make you a narcissist? No. Everybody has a breaking point, and everybody can react and say things in a moment of weakness, or simply being when they're emotional. So remember, an emotionally immature adult can call you names when they're upset, when they feel hurt or threatened. A narcissist will do the same. What's the difference? Well, when a narcissist has calmed down, they never give you a heartfelt apology. They never make amends for what they've done. They pretend as if nothing's happened. In fact, they may gaslight you or just keep the pain going because they enjoy that. Whereas somebody who is emotionally immature, because they actually have empathy, they feel guilty once they've calmed down. They're able to look at their behavior. Even though they're immature, they feel bad for what they said to you, for what they did to you. And they will apologize. They will most likely continue the same immature behavior, but you will notice that there will be a willingness or at least an intention where they will want to at least change their actions and they show repentance for their bad behavior. That is very important to understand. Okay, that's number one. Continuing on with the second sign, which is lying. Think back when you were a child. Have you ever told a lie? Because I sure have. You ever got a bad grade at school when you were a kid and you came home and you were afraid to tell your parents? So you lied and said that the results weren't in yet? Or you just simply lied about the score you got on the test? Everybody's told a white lie when they were younger, which is out of immaturity. Why? Because you fear the reaction that your parents or your caregivers may give you. You fear that you may not be loved or appreciated or respected or cared for if you tell the truth. So you lie and you hide the truth out of fear of judgment. This is what emotionally immature people do. They lie out of fear for those reasons that I stated. Now the difference is, a partner who's immature, if they've told a little white lie, once they have, gathered some courage, they will approach you and they will confess to you and they will make amends. So that's when you know they're maturing. Now, a narcissist will tell you lies, but for different reasons. Because remember, a narcissist has no empathy. They use people. They see them as objects to exploit and take advantage of. So a narcissist will lie to you about things big and small, not because they fear rejection, not because they fear what you think of them. They fear that if you find out the truth, horrible things that they've said and done to you behind your back, that they will lose the ability to take advantage of you because you'd leave them and they would lose a good source of supply. So remember, a narcissist lies because it's in their nature to do so, because they lack empathy. They don't feel bad to lie to you. That's just the way they are. And that's the distinction. Okay, remember, an emotionally immature adult, somebody who is immature, will lie to you because they're fearful how you're going to respond to them. But later on, they will always tell you the truth. A narcissist is never going to tell you the truth. A narcissist will lie to you because it's in their nature, because they wear a mask on out in the world and they pretend to be someone they're not. So a narcissist, you can present them with the truth. You may find something out later on. Perhaps you find out that your partner cheated on you. The narcissist will either deny it or they will blame you for it. They'll try and put the onus on you. Because a narcissist, they do not care about your emotions or anybody else's for that matter. They will use fake empathy if they can still extract value from you and give you almost like a fake apology. But they never actually mean it with their behavior. They never try and make things right later on through their actions. Okay, so that's really important to understand. Okay, lying. If you have a partner and they've lied to you about a few things and it's something small, yes, that is a red flag, but you must be able to distinguish. Okay, if you're watching this video and you're a young guy let's say you're 19 and your girlfriend, she's also 19. You're both young. It's your first relationship. And she lies to you about a few little things. You know, something really small. Okay? And she comes to you the next day and she apologizes. Okay? And she explains herself to you. That's okay. She's confessed her wrongdoing and she's ultimately told you the truth. But you see, the difference is that she's not lying to you because she wants to hurt you or because she doesn't care about you. She's lying to you because she doesn't know how to process her emotions and she's just immature. Remember, on the other hand, the narcissist will lie to you about everything, big and small, and they will never ever confess the truth to you. Because that's how they treat everyone. They use people. Therefore, lying to them is nothing. It's easy. They've got no conscience. That's the difference, okay? Number 3, emotional escalations. This means that an emotionally immature adult will cry, scream, pout, hang up the phone, or shout in any situation they feel uncomfortable in. This will likely include a scenario where you express your emotions in regards to how they've said or done something to disrespect you, or you stand up for one of your boundaries. Particularly if the emotions that you state cause them to perceive your feelings as negative towards them. They fear rejection, they fear loss. And this is where, again, people confuse this with their partner being a narcissist, because a narcissist is going to give you pretty much a similar response, which is known as a narcissistic rage. They shout, they scream, they throw things, they leave the room, they hang up, whatever happens to be. Okay, they basically run off like a coward and they're not having none of it. Now, there's a very fine line to distinguish between the reaction of that scenario being of a narcissist versus of somebody who is just emotionally immature. Let me give you an example. You have a date planned with the girl you're in a relationship with. Okay, you're 4 months into you're courting and all the rest. She comes over on a Friday night, or she's supposed to, and you set a time for 8 o'clock. You sit there, you got dinner ready, you got the movie ready. It's 10 o'clock at night. 2 hours have gone by. Then she turns up. And she walks in as if nothing happened. She doesn't say she's sorry. She doesn't give you an explanation of what happened and why she was late. And then when you sit down and give a rational answer to the situation and you say, listen, I find it very disrespectful that you walk into my home after we have plans. You are 2 hours late and you haven't given me a single explanation or an apology. That shows a clear disregard for my time and I do not appreciate that. Do not do that again in the future. And any man with self-respect is going to say that. Now, when you do that, she might give you a response such as, oh, I'm so sorry, I guess I'm never going to talk to you again. And then she starts crying to guilt trip you because she's childish, she's immature. Or she just throws a hissy fit and leaves, slams your door, turns her phone off and doesn't contact you until she's calmed down. Now, that may seem narcissistic, but again, it comes down to that same difference. The key here is empathy. Somebody who's emotionally immature still has normal feelings of love and care for you. But due to their immaturity, they don't know how to process them in a healthy way. So again, once they've calmed down, she will reach out to you, she will apologize, she'll make amends. And she may do this many times throughout your relationship, but the thing is this, as time goes on, if she's someone who truly is emotionally mature, you will see little indicators of maturity. Her bad behavior will improve and she will show corrective action. Whereas when you're with a narcissist, not only are they going to cry, scream, shout, guilt trip you and act childish and immaturely, which is what you would expect from a narcissist, but what the narcissist will actually do is they won't give you that heartfelt apology, which is what I've been saying throughout this video thus far. They will not give you that genuine heartfelt apology. They will put the blame on you. They will get more belligerent when you stand up for yourself and demand respect from their bad behavior. That's the difference. The narcissist will never show an indication of improvement. Whereas your partner who is emotionally immature, they will come back to you, they will apologize because they have empathy, and the empathy kicks in once they've calmed down. The emotions have subsided, they've gone back to their rationale and logic. They look back at how they behaved and they realize, you know what, listen, I'm sorry, I had a bad day at work, I was stuck in traffic for an hour, and then I got back, I showered, I got ready, I came over to see you, and I know time went on and I was late, and I was already upset, I had a bad day, and you saying that to me, I thought you were just really hurt with me and you were going to be done with me, so I started screaming and shouting. I'm really, really sorry, I'm going to try and not do that again. That's what an emotionally immature adult will say once they've calmed down, because they recognize they were in the wrong. A narcissist is never going to give you those sweet words that you would expect, because remember, somebody's apology has to be as loud as their disrespect. So again, it comes back to what I've been saying. That's the difference. You can expect emotional escalations with a narcissist or a partner who's emotionally mature, but the difference always remains the same. The narcissist is never going to apologize, change, or improve from a heartfelt place, whereas the emotionally immature partner will. They will give you that apology and they will slowly change for the better. Okay, so that's number 3. Now, the fourth indicator of an emotionally immature adult is that they resort to immature defense mechanisms. Now, what does this actually mean? Because again, this is something you're going to see whether you're dealing with a narcissist or a partner who's emotionally immature. And that line is very fine in between to distinguish. So let's break this down. They have immature defense mechanisms. Well, what really is that? Well, this means that when they are presented with a different viewpoint, a different worldview, a different belief system, or any information, proof, evidence, or facts that go against what they hold near and dear to them, and it could be an opinion on sports, on politics, you get the point. So rather than being able to listen to the evidence that you've presented and break down your thoughts, compare it all, use logic and reason, break things down, try and understand things through basic problem solving. Instead of doing that, the emotionally immature adult and the narcissist will resort to defense mechanisms, which means they will lash out and attack you, whether they verbally insult you, again, the name calling, slamming a door, shutting down emotionally, throwing a tantrum. This comes from an immature defense mechanism, because they don't know how to process information that conflicts with their worldview in a mature, healthy manner. Because they're immature, they are seeing the world through the lens of their ego, their pride. So because you are against them in their mind, when you're presenting this information, they perceive that you hate them, you dislike them, you don't love them, you don't care about them because you don't think or believe the same things they do. So they develop the mindset of you versus them. This is what you see with narcissists. And the difference between an emotionally immature adult is what I've been saying in the previous indicators. Yes, they will react this way, which may come across as narcissistic. The difference is the emotionally immature adult, once they calm down, they will revert back to talking about the topic maybe a couple of weeks later or a few months later. They'll bring up that topic, right? They might do their research independently on the things you've said because they're maturing and they want to do it privately. They don't want to be judged by you. And then they'll come back to you a week later, say, you know what, Jimmy, I looked up what you said and you were right. And my information was wrong, but, I was scared you were going to judge me for it. So I got very angry. I'm so sorry. That was very immature of me. That's the difference. Whereas the narcissist, remember, a narcissist has that grandiose mindset where they think they're better than everybody else. So when you say to a narcissist, hey, I think you might be wrong there. Look at this information here. Look at these documents I've showed you. They will get offended because it's you versus them. And then they will attack you, not out of immaturity. The narcissist will attack you out of pure self-loathing. There's a difference, okay? So remember, if you present information to an emotionally immature partner that goes against their viewpoint, their worldview, their belief system, it can cause them to defend themselves in an immature manner by denying, by attacking you, by name-calling, by throwing a hissy fit. But remember, they're not doing that out of hatred. They're not doing that because there's something wrong with them. They don't have a disorder. They're just immature. They're just childlike. And they're playing on their ego. But again, there's a chance for them to heal and grow and mature over time. So if you are stuck with somebody who's emotionally mature, you just got to be patient in that regard. So these 4 signs that I have covered are indicative of somebody who's emotionally mature, but it can also be perceived as an individual that is narcissistic. And this is where these two become intertwined, and emotional immaturity is oftentimes mistaken for narcissism. Now, you've got to remember, narcissists fundamentally lack empathy, which is why, as I've mentioned from all of these different indicators, is that eventually the emotionally immature partner will come to their senses and slowly over time will begin to mature. Because remember, they have feelings, they have compassion and sympathy and empathy for you. So when they've said and done things that are out of line, or they react in emotional ways or in childish ways, they eventually grow out of it. And they look at their behavior with shame and guilt, with a desire and a heart willing to change. They develop that self-awareness, which is necessary for that growth. And just like that, over the course of a long period of time, slowly they start to mature. That's all it takes. But you just have to be patient, okay? Whereas with a narcissist, they think there's nothing wrong with them. Okay, that's the thing with a narcissist. They feel like they are perfect. They are flawless. They don't make mistakes. So, you're never going to see a narcissist is never going to go on Google and type in, oh my goodness, am I a narcissist? And look at the list of them and get heart palpitations when they read the different signs. Whereas on the other hand, somebody who's been involved with a narcissist is going to go right on Google and YouTube and type in, am I a narcissist? Or was I involved with a narcissist? And they're even worried because they've got so much empathy that perhaps they themselves could be the narcissist, that they themselves are at fault here, when they're not. Because let me tell you, somebody who's narcissistic is never going to question if they're a narcissist or they're a bad person or they're evil. But a partner who's emotionally immature, who regrets something silly or stupid they said or did to you, they will question themselves. They will research. They will wonder, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Okay, so there's a very fine line. It's very easy to label someone a narcissist, but you've got to use thorough investigation and study their behavioral patterns. And the key is the little things that I mentioned. Do they have empathy? If the answer is yes, then they're a narcissist. Do they give you heartfelt apologies? And despite their repeating mistakes, do they show at least any intention of changing? Has there been any improvement? Okay? You got to look at those things, and then you will be able to distinguish. All right? Now, one thing that you definitely notice, and you might see yourself, is if you're somebody who's emotionally immature, you may even find yourself attracted or almost as if you always get involved with narcissists. And this conversation can be very devastating. What's worse, if you ever had a emotionally immature parent, okay, and you may stay stuck in a cycle of feeling hurt, believing that whatever happened in your upbringing was your fault, and you become a people pleaser, you become codependent, and you yourself never properly mature. But on the flip side, if you are mature and you're involved with a partner who is emotionally mature, the best thing you can do is be patient. Be compassionate, be kind, but stand up for yourself and assert your boundaries. And remember, if you think it's worth to give them a chance and keep that relationship going, understand it's going to take them a long time for maturity to actually happen. And if you're willing to go the distance, that's up to you. So all in all, guys, remember there is a serious issue overall in the world with people that are narcissistic. Now, people become hyper-focused, fixated on it, and think everybody's a narcissist, and that's not true. Sometimes you're just involved with someone who's immature. And there's many other little signs I could have added to this video, but I just wanted to cover these 4 ones because they're very big and they pretty much encompass everything in regards to this. So with that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you would like to reach out to me privately, whether you would like to book a coaching call or share a situation with me, my email will be down in the description. And with that said, thank you guys for all the love and support. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section, and hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.